everybody. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Here we are, back again. We're so excited to be with
you. The gang's all here.
Better watch out, we'll sing some more.
I know, more. Get the beer started.
Well, we're coming to the end of October.
Oh.
This is our last Sunday in October.
Right, it is.
So, you know, I don't know if there were any October fests, but
maybe somewhere.
I'm sure somebody did it.
Some people may have had them in their house.
I think they probably did. I just wasn't invited to it, but that's okay. So, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I have to say I like your sticker.
Oh, yes, me too.
I don't have mine yet.
Yes.
Tomorrow
Dropped
is
it off
my
Tuesday.
day. Yes, way to go.
And I saved my sticker for today so I could display it.
Then that's why I'm pointing it out. Yeah, so we're just making sure that everybody has a plan, right? That's what everybody says. You need to make your plan and be prepared and know what's going on. And so I have my morning blocked off tomorrow to do all my research. I have my reading and the websites that I want to go and look at and be informed and prepared. So that's my tomorrow morning.
Very good.
Yes. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you did that. And I encourage everybody else to do that too. So here we are again. Welcome to my living room, our sanctuary for now.
Yes. It's still weird for me to think of this as your living room because I'm here so often. I almost was surprised you didn't say our living room.
Right.
I'm like, no, it's yours.
Well, we have bubbled, you know, in this time, especially as cases seem to be rising again. You know, it's really important for everybody to be conscious and be careful, and we just want to make sure that you are safe and you're well. We're washing our hands like crazy and not touching our face and wearing the masks and doing what we need to do.
They're annoying, but they work.
I know.
They work.
They really do. They really do. So we're glad to have you with us. I'm Rev Katherine Economou. We should introduce ourselves.
Yes.
I'm Rev Katherine Economou. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Temecula Valley. This is John Foltz, our artistic director. And this is what we do on Sundays, to come together to create a service, to connect, to inspire, and to remind us of the importance and the power of spiritual community. And so we have broken through all the walls, literally, and our spiritual community is no longer a small little good secret, well-kept secret in Temecula Valley. We have kind of spread out across the country and across the globe here.
We have somebody from Scotland.
We did. Yep. We've got
cool.
Our friends in Scotland and all over the place. And so if you are one of our members, we want to say good morning and welcome you. If you are just finding us on Facebook, I just want to say good morning, and we're so glad you decided to join us. Check us out, see what we're about. We are a radically inclusive, supportive spiritual community that realizes that the divine presence is alive in each and every one of us. And we stand for equality, we stand for inclusion, and we stand for love. And so it's in the spirit of love that I welcome you this morning. And we are going to get going. I think John's got a song for us to get us centered here. It's a good one too.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace.
So let us take a collective breath and sink into this moment together. For I know that there is only one life, one light, one spirit that moves and breathes itself into being as all of creation, in each and every one of us. I know God as that creator, the divine lover of our souls that is ever sourcing and supporting, guiding and inspiring us to connect to that deep truth that we are one. And so breathing into the center of this moment and realizing that peace that passes understanding is alive at the center of each of us, we rest in knowing that there's a place within where all is well, where God resides. And that as we put our attention upon it, it expands and we realize that we are completely sourced and supported, comforted and guided by this wisdom, by this love and this light that is God. And it simply expands with each breath into our lives, into our experience, reminding us that we are connected. And so as we come together for this service on this day, we are united in the heart, connected in the spirit, in this life, in this moment. And I know all unfolds in divine time and perfect order, that we each receive that which we need in this day to be inspired, to be energized, to be supported with all unfolding for each and every one of us. And with a grateful heart to see this and to know it and to allow it to unfold, I simply surrender and allow it to be. And so it is. Amen.
Lovely.
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 Yay. It's nice to pause and remember. I'm doing that a whole heck of a lot more lately. I don't know about you.
We're in like the great pause.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I think that's probably what's being called for.
I think so. I don't know if we've done enough of it. I think that's why it's going on so long. But especially this time, everything's kind of amping up out there in the world, and to be able to take time during our day to pause, to find some peace. And I actually am starting a new thing. I didn't mention to you yet, but I'm starting to put up, I haven't named it yet. I got to come up with a snappy name for it, but moments of pause during our day. So I'm going to do some Facebook videos and throw them up over the next couple of weeks to just take we did our 20-minute meditation this morning, and we do that every Sunday, and they're always up on our Facebook, and you can always access them whenever you need them to do a guided meditation. But what I'm finding that I'm doing, and I wanted to share with everybody else, is just like 3 or 5 minutes of just taking a little time out of the day and just doing some mindfulness exercises and work. So I'm going to starting to throw those up on Facebook so that we could all find that within, because I'm feeling, and not only my experience, but what I'm hearing from people as I'm talking to them is that we're getting a little, there's a little going on.
To anyone who isn't already.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
there's some answerness.
Absolutely. But the good news is fall has finally hit Southern California.
It's glorious.
Oh my goodness. It's
glorious.
Cool. And this week it started to go down, and I'm sorry, this is the time of our service when we do the weather report with John Foltz.
We need to develop a green screen and get graphic overlays.
Exactly. We can begin to do
and in Fallbrook today.
But what happened was, so this week our temperature started to step down, right? And so I think it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. It got to be 81 here, and I put on a sweater. I was like, okay, I'm ready for sweater weather. It's like, and my daughter came out and looked at me, and she was like, it's kind of hot, And she's the one who's wearing sweatshirts all the time, and I'm like, I'm ready for sweaters, I'm willing the weather. And so we're getting there. So I don't know if
we're getting there.
Really
there. The California thing, though, you talk about stepping down. It's like it takes 2 really small steps, and then it's like a 6-foot drop.
Exactly.
To the bottom.
Exactly. But welcoming the fall and welcoming the change fall, and all that. And so next week is the fall back. I'll remind you again, next week is the end of daylight savings time. So we all get an extra hour on Sunday morning. So you might be looking for us. Make sure you change your time and check it out. We all get an extra hour of sleep. So we're going to be peppy. We'll be peppy and ready to go. Even more so.
Right. I know. It means I'll have an extra hour worth of coffee.
Yeah, there you go.
So
that'll be fun.
I'll be flying. I'll just be suspended from the ceiling.
Well, there you can just Teach us all how to levitate through caffeine.
Totally.
But anyway, so we're so excited about that shift and that change, and it just feels like change is coming. You know, the energy, the light is different these days, and as the season moves on, there's this new energy of excitement and creativity and change, and so I'm enjoying that, and I hope we have a chance to kind of harness that to move in the direction that we want to go in all the areas of our lives.
All the areas.
So we'll know that for you, we'll know that for us.
Yes.
And I think we've got a chant.
We've got a chant.
Let's do a
We've
chant.
got a chant.
Okay. It's one of my favorites.
Yes. We like this one. Something a little peppy. We're getting ahead of the pep here. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Love everybody with my mind stayed on spirit. Love everybody with my mind stayed on spirit. Love everybody with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
I love that one. It's one of
So
my
wake up!
Yes. We're awake. I hope you are too. That's when I can't help it. I'm like dancing in my seat.
Right?
And I'm like, ready
Right?
to go.
Clapping along.
Yeah. And
Pretending
singing.
to sing.
No, that one's low enough that I'm
Oh.
singing. I can do the lower range.
I found the key. I'm going to start changing the key
on everything, and I can't help myself to sing that one. That's one of my favorite songs, so thank you for that. All right, so we're going to move into our moment of gratitude. We have created this moment as a mini spiritual practice here to remind us of the power, the creative power of gratitude. Sometimes when life gets stressed and we get worried and all the stuff is happening and all the world and everything, we forget to move back into those simple spiritual practices that keep us connected. And so we decided to move our moment of gratitude to the front of the service. And so I'm going to invite you to just pause right where you are and just close your eyes and take a breath. I want you to think of something that you're grateful for this morning. Again, I always joke, maybe it's your cup of coffee, maybe it's the fact that you don't have to get out of bed to come to church, maybe it's whatever it is. Maybe something wonderful and magnificent happened to you this week. Maybe you're looking out your window and seeing that glorious morning. I'm praying for rain today. I don't know if we're going to get it, but maybe you get some rain or some sun or whatever it is that you can call up and just allow the feeling of gratitude to resonate in your heart in this moment. Just rest in it for a moment. Then I want you to think of something else that you're grateful for. I always have to add the fur babies. Everybody's so grateful for their fur babies, those little balls of love that our animal companions are. Maybe it's even for this breath that you can take. And so we want to breathe into that sense of gratitude and allow it to grow in our hearts. Allow it to extend out into our bodies. It's a visceral feeling if you can connect to it. With each breath, just allow it to expand. I like to allow it to expand past the borders of my body into the space around me, so I'm sitting in a bubble of gratitude. I keep thinking of those toys, that people play and that they're in a big bubble and they run around in. So let's just move, and how good it would be to just move around in life in a big bubble of gratitude. Because it is creative and it changes our relationship to life itself and to each other. And so just grounding in gratitude this morning. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come on back. And then I want to extend our gratitude to you for joining us today, our gratitude for everyone who has leaned in to support the ongoing operations of our spiritual community. This time of COVID is very strange, and even though we cannot meet physically, we are still we still have our overhead, we still have all our monthly bills, and our staff we're trying to support, and our donations have gone down a little bit. And so this is the moment where we want to remind you of the power of giving and saying yes to that which you believe in. There's a really amazing spiritual practice of tithing, and people are always like, oh, don't tell me about tithing, I don't want to hear about that. But the part that I want to get across about tithing is that this is a magical spiritual practice, and it's not really magical, but it's amazing how powerful it is. When you decide to give consciously to that which feeds you, which inspires you, which supports you, you open this channel of receiving of the blessings and the bounty of life itself. And I have heard story after story, never mind it turning my life around when I decided to commit to giving. And they say tithing is 10%, and it's easy to figure out. But I love my spiritual teacher who said, you can't outgive God, but I'd like to see you try, right? So every time you make a commitment to whatever level it is, when you make that commitment and you stick with it for 3 months or 6 months, you can see how all things financially in your world start to turn around and shift. And other avenues of receiving and of support open up. And so I'm going to encourage you to consider this. If you are challenged right now, if you are struggling, if there's some worry and some fear, I invite you to just rest in seeing what the fear is about giving to that which feeds you and supports you. Because when we process through that, then it's the fear that holds us back. It's the fear that restricts our ability to receive in our lives. And so when we commit to doing spiritual giving, intentionally and consciously, we start to move in the direction of allowing that divine flow in our life. So I'm going to invite us to play with that and to realize that when we say yes, I want to be a part of this spiritual community. Yes, I believe in what you're doing. Yes, I want to see more of this. We want to see this grow and expand. We want to expand all of the ways that we can reach out and start to redesign and redevelop spiritual community in this new world order. But we also want you to realize that the power and the presence of the abundance of God is right where you are. And as you give, you open to receiving that. And we want abundance and support for you in your life. And we know that we can support you in doing that too. And so I'm going to invite you to remember, there are a couple of different ways that you could give to CSL TV. You could click on our donate button. It goes through PayPal. You could call Diane. Good morning, Diane, our administrator extraordinaire who is at the office this morning. You could call her at 951-304-0268. Or you could mail in, and the address, I still don't have it, it's Diaz Road. I've got the Diaz Road part, but it's Diaz Road.
You should start printing it on your...
I do have it printed, I just
somewhere.
don't have it. But it's Diaz Road, and in Temecula, it's on the... Charlene's going to put it up on the feed this morning, so thank you, Charlene, for backing me up. But you could mail in a check if you'd like, and we're just so grateful. We are absolutely so grateful, and want to be able to continue to bring CSL TV to you and have us connect. And so I invite you to take your offering in your heart and just breathe into this moment, realizing that this is a gift of the divine. This has come to each of us and flows out to that which we want to see grow, that light of connection, of love, and of peace in the world through these teachings, knowing that as we give, we receive. It's not why we give, but it's just part of the whole process of the divine flow of life as we open and allow that flow to move through our experience. And so I bless it, I give thanks for it, and allow it to be, and so it is.
So it is.
And so let's join together in our affirmation. I'd love to hear you all saying it with us. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Yes.
Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say,
Thank you. And so our reading today again comes from 365 Science of Mind by founder of religious science, Ernest Holmes. We've been walking through this book this year to stay grounded in the principles of our teaching as we experience this very interesting moment in history. And so our reading today is the reading for October 25th. It's on page 316, and it's entitled, I Realize the Presence of God. So just take a breath and let's hear what Ernest has to say today. Expectancy speeds progress. Therefore, I live in a continual state of expectancy. No matter how much I'm experiencing today, I expect greater good tomorrow. I expect to meet new friends. I expect to meet new and wonderful experiences. I know that when I live in harmony with the divine presence in me and around me, I will be protected by its power. No harm can come to me when I know that God is at the center of everything. There is an inexhaustible reservoir of life, of imagination, energy, and will flowing through me into action. Divine power exists everywhere and takes form for me through my ideas, my faith. Today and every day, I expect good. I anticipate meeting new friends. I joyously anticipate contacting new situations that will increase my livingness. My life is an adventure. I know that wonderful things are going to happen to me. I know that everything I do will turn into good for me and for others. Something within me today sings aloud as I marvel at the limitless opportunities for my self-expression. My real self is God, the eternal, perfect self, the one undivided self. There could not be a greater wholeness or a more complete oneness. It would be impossible for me to have any more faith than I now possess. I realize the perfect presence of God in me. And so it is.
So it is.
So we have an exciting guest today.
I'm taking a week off from doing the special music.
I know. Well, we're a little sad about that.
Well,
but we are also excited. We have one of our great friends with us today.
Yes, all the way from Colorado, nonetheless. Of
Yes.
the wonders of technology. Please welcome our friend Denise Rosiér.
Yay!
Yay!
Hey CSL TV, it's so great to be with you guys again. You are the light in a darkened room and rain on a desert floor. Love beating in the hardest heart, calm to a raging storm. You're the miracle of miracles, moving through everything, and you move in me, move in me. You are the bread for a hungry soul, life with the truth laid bare, the moon that glows with the light of the sun, but even that can't compare. You're the wonder of wonders, shining through everything, and you shine in me. I am alive with your love, oh God. You are high and lifted up. I am alive with your love, oh God. You are high and lifted up, pure and holy. I am solely what you've made me with your love, oh God. I am a precious, sacred gift you have opened up, like the stream that spills from the edges of an overflowing cup. You're the blessing of blessings, moving through everything, and you flow through me, flow through me. I am alive with your love, oh God. You are high and lifted up. I am alive with your love, oh God. You are high and lifted up, pure and holy. I am solely what you've made me with your love, oh God. I am alive with your love, oh God. You are high and lifted up. I am alive with your love, oh God. You are high and lifted up, pure and holy. I am solely what you've made me with your love, oh God. Pure and holy, I am solely what you've made me with your love, oh God.
So we just want to thank Denise Rosiér. Denise, we're so glad you're with us. Thank you for your gift of your music. That was really lovely. And so, friends, again, we've been talking, every week I've been having us start by taking a deep breath. So let's take a nice deep breath together. And I don't know if that's for you or for me. It's probably for me, but let's do that again together. Ready? Nice deep breath. It feels so good. Okay. So my talk today is anticipation. It's making me wait. And so there's a little wink to all my Carly Simon friends out there. You know who you are. And this came up because right now we seem to be stuck in a perpetual state of anticipation, right? Like we're all trying to put a good spin on it. We're all trying to handle it, but we're all waiting to see what's happening. What's going to happen? What's going to happen with this pandemic? What's going to happen with this election? What's going to happen? How's it? We're being bombarded with all of this sensory overload in this moment, and it's making us wait, right? Because we're trying to hold on and handle the rising stress of the world. And so as I've been talking to people, as I've been connecting through our classes and chatting with people in my life, everybody's trying to put a good spin on it. You know, they'll say, I'm doing okay. I'll say, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing okay. Things are fine. Rev Katherine, they're okay. Well, let me tell you, that's always a sign that things are not okay, by the way. When we say, it's fine, I'm fine, everything's okay, you can tell that there's something else going on. And after a bit of inquiry, on my part, the floodgates start to open, right? And a long list of things that are going wrong in the world or that we're worried about come pouring out. And I think what's been happening is that we've been holding on to it. We're trying to get through this by just skating over it. And that's not supporting us, because the level of stress that we're experiencing is rising, and it's rising to a place where we can't hold it anymore. We need to breathe into the moment, to be present here, and allow what wants to be released emotionally and mentally and physically. We need to let go and find some place of peace and of trust. The stress of this moment is rising, and we're heading, as we stand here on this Sunday, we're heading into the last full week before the election, and to no one's surprise, there's a lot happening out here in the country, and tensions are high. People have been getting scared about what could happen, and what's happening is it's causing some deep stress. It's affecting our well-being. Some people aren't sleeping. Some people are engaging in addictive behaviors and our avoidance techniques to keep ourselves from succumbing to the stress and the fear that's rising. Overeating, overindulging, zoning out on TV, or going the other way and diving into the 24/7 news cycle to try and find some explanation or some grounding in that. This growing energy that's rising is the energy of anticipation, but it's the energy that's been fueled by fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what could possibly happen, just plain old fear. So this week, once again, the perfect reading for the day popped up and inspired me as to what direction for us to go in order to find our balance. We need to find our balance in this moment and start to rise in our consciousness to be creative in a new way. We need to find a place of peace within. That's what the meditation was geared towards. That's what all our intentions are for this day, is for us to each be able to find a place of peace and of balance at the center of our being. Let us wake up to what we can do in our own minds and lives to begin to move forward in a conscious and a productive way. So this month we've been exploring tools for dealing with big moments of change and uncertainty by building, my intention was for us to work on building our resiliency, our strength, and deepening our connection to God, which is that which allows us to stand firm in moments that are uncertain. And this week, we're closing out our theme by looking at the power of expectancy. Now, that's an interesting word, expectancy. Not expectations, but the spirit of expectancy. Expectancy is a state of awareness where we may not know exactly what's going to happen, but we know in the end it'll be for our benefit and our goodness. It's changing our relationship to life to realize that life isn't about holding us back or holding us down. Life is there for our freedom. Life is there to support us. It's for us and not against us. And so I can almost hear you saying through the internet, "What? Have you lost your mind, Rev Katherine?" I can hear you through the internet saying
What?
that.
Have you lost your mind, Rev Katherine?
Thank you, John.
Play my part.
So just take a moment and take a breath with me. And just remember that what we're truly being called to do right now, other than vote, what we're truly being called to do right now is to remember the truth and the presence of God in our lives. That's what this is really about. You found your way to hear this service today for a reason. Now, whether you're a longtime member of our spiritual community or you just stumbled on it through Facebook, this is a divine appointment for you to hear and remember that you are a spiritual being, having come here to this life for a purpose. on purpose. And I'm going to remind you that you have a connection to the presence of God that loves you, that supports you, and is ever present in your life. It's a power and a presence on which you can depend. And it's always there, and it's always available for you. So why wouldn't you live in a state of expectancy? Why wouldn't you be moving around knowing that you are the divine emanation and having a spirit of expectancy that of course you have all that you need and more to fulfill your purpose here on earth. Of course you have that support. Of course you have that guidance. All of those opportunities. Why wouldn't you? You are a divine emanation of the One. You are a child of God. We should expect that God's showing up for us. And the more we realize this and how God operates in life, the easier it is to allow this truth to be your reality. When we do this, all of that angst and all of the stress just start to calm down. And we begin to live in faith. This is living in faith, understanding how God operates and understanding that God is a part of your life is the pathway for living in faith. So the question is this: what gets in the way of living in faith? Well, what gets in the way of living in faith is allowing your fears to be more powerful than God, to think that your fears are bigger than the divine. What gets in the way of faith is when we give the situation of the world more power than what we know to be true about life itself. What gets in the way of living in faith is creating a mindset that is perpetually on the hamster wheel of worry and stress and worry and stress and worry and stress. Sound like anybody you know? When we live within a belief of limitation rather than one of possibility, that gets in the way of living in faith. So many of us get mesmerized by the experience of the world that it guides us into that space of constriction, of contraction, of doubting, of fear. And we get on that hamster wheel. And what happens is we just keep creating it and creating it and creating it. It reminded me of a story of a gentleman up in Vermont. There was a man who lived by the side of this road, and his name was Old Joe. And he was out rocking on his porch on one fine autumn day. It was a glorious, beautiful autumn day, and you could just imagine in your mind all the colors of the trees all around him and the crispness of the air. And he's out in his sweater on that porch on his rocking chair. And a gentleman in a fancy car drove up and popped out. And he said, "Hey there, can you help me for a minute?" Joe said, "What could I do for you, sir?" He said, "Well, we stayed in a town a ways back last night, and we're on a tour of the region. And I'm wondering how the town down here, down the road is. Could you tell me about that?" Old Joe asked, "Well, how'd you find the town you came from last night?" And the man said, "Well, it was horrible. The people were standoffish and unhelpful. They were downright rude and really difficult. It was so uncomfortable. The hotel was horrible. We just couldn't wait to get out of there." Old Joe paused for a moment and he said, "Well, pretty much the same over there." "Thank you," said the man. "You saved me from going into a bad situation again. I really appreciate it. Thanks." And he drove off. A little while later, another gentleman drove up and popped out and said, "Excuse me, sir, can you help me? We're on a tour of the region to see the beautiful leaves up here, and we stayed in a town a ways back last night. And I'm wondering how this town down the road is down here. Can you tell me how that is?" Again, Old Joe asked, "Well, how'd you find the town you just came from?" The man said, "Oh, it was wonderful. The people were so friendly and the food was delicious. The bed was the most comfortable bed I've ever been in that cute little hotel. It was charming and lovely. We thoroughly enjoyed it." Old Joe paused for a moment and said, "Pretty much the same over there." "Great," the man exclaimed. "I'm so grateful. Have a great day." And he drove off down towards the town. Old Joe chuckled a little and then had the thought that he should put up a sign that said "Visitor Center here." And then he walked back in his house. Now the thing is it was the same town. And the same town was where they were headed. It was the mindset of the person that called forth the experience. When we are living with an inner landscape of fear and worry and judgment and stress, all we see is fear and worry, things to judge and be stressed about. When we can find that place of peace within us, we can call forth those experiences of peace and of appreciation, of gratitude. It's our job. It's not about something that's going on outside. It's our job to find that place of connection and that peace. We have to remember that our thoughts are creative. Our mindsets are creative, and that inner landscape is creative. The sum total of our mental and emotional state is creative. And they all affect our general state of not only the experience that we're having, but of our health and our well-being. Throughout history, many spiritual teachers have been pointing us to this truth. From the Bible, Mark 11:24, "What things soever ye desire, when you pray, believe that you have them, and you receive them, and you shall have them." The Buddha said, "All that we are is a result of what we have thought." Gandhi said, "A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes." Winston Churchill even said, "The empires of the future are the empires of the mind." Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "We become what we think about all day long." And Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." We want to be conscious of our mind states. We want to be conscious of our inner landscape and how all of those thoughts and beliefs are affecting us, because what they're doing is they're changing our relationship to the life we are living around us. As best-selling author Lynn McTaggart, who is the founder of our Power of 8 group, the Power of 8 group process, which we are running right now at the center, what Lynn McTaggart writes is, "Where attention goes, energy flows. Where intention goes, energy flows." Your attention and your intention is both creative. Wherever we put our expectancy or our attention is what we will create and what we'll experience. So you have a choice. You have a choice. You can live in the worry and stress, the fear of the unknown, and let that rule your consciousness. And you can let it eat you alive from the inside out. And I think that there are a lot of people in that boat these days. Fear creates chaos and drama and suffering. Or you can do the spiritual work to move your consciousness into a place of knowing God in your life and open to live in the spirit of expectancy. We have got to gain control of our minds and not let them go wild with fear and worry. And especially in this next week and a half, I'm going to really encourage you to try and gain control of your minds so that they don't go off into that abyss of stress and that abyss of worry. I came across some things, some alternate things that you can think about this week if you don't want to think about what's happening out in the world. And so this was a funny that came across my Facebook this week, and I wanted to share a couple of them with you. So alternate things to think about. What if my dog only brings back the ball because he thinks I like throwing it? Which letter is silent in the word scent? The S or the C? Why is the letter W in English called W? Shouldn't it be called double V? This is the one for, this is why I'm not going to clean anymore, because it says every time you clean something, you just make something else dirty. Right? Intentionally losing a game of rock, paper, scissors is just as hard as trying to win it. Your future self, this is the one, your future self is watching you right now through your memories.
Ooh,
isn't that wild?
that'll play with your mind.
That will play. Spend some time on that one. And then the last one was, if you rip a hole in a net, there are actually fewer holes in it than were there before. Right? So if you are having a hard time with your thoughts, find something like this And spend your time thinking about that, expanding your consciousness, digging into something else, because it's going to be more supportive of you than getting on that hamster wheel of stress and of worry. What we want to do is move into the spirit of expectancy. And when we commit to that, when we are commit to developing the spirit of expectancy in our consciousness, then we're training our minds and hearts to welcome God into our daily lives. When we are consciously seeking Spirit's presence and expecting it to show up, when we have that demand on God, and you get to put a demand on God, show yourself, if you're the divine support, then show up. And show me how you are. Then we begin to actually see the hand of God directly working. When we can start to see that we become aware of the ways in which God reveals itself. So synchronicities begin to emerge. New avenues open up for exploration. Exactly what you need miraculously shows up on your doorstep. I kind of expected my Amazon delivery guy to ding the bell at that moment as soon as I said that, but thank goodness he didn't. And so when you begin to recognize that it is God working on your behalf, what happens is that it multiplies and it expands, and you start to see more, and then it multiplies and expands, and you can welcome the fullness of life because you realize that you are part of that divine life, that you are deserving, and that there is something greater operating here. And so all those things that we're worried about, all those possibilities in the future that we're afraid of, what we're not doing is giving space for God in that. We're not leaving room for the divine unfoldment in that. When we put our attention on that fear and on that worry, we are forgetting that there is a power and a presence that has created the universe, that has created all that is. And of course, that power can show up in the unfoldment of life that we think we can't handle. But we can handle it when we live in the moment now, in the spirit of expectancy, and make room for that presence of God. I'm fond of saying that the universe, that God likes to be acknowledged, right? I like to say it all the time because it's through our practice of expectancy and waking up to see God's presence in our life, what happens is we rise in our gratitude. Every time we see a synchronicity happen or something just comes together in a perfect way, what happens is we allow that space of gratitude to come up. We acknowledge it, we feel the gratitude, and then it just expands and happens more and more. And our goal is to be living our days in that joy, in that awe, and that excitement of, okay, what's going to happen next? Instead of living in the fear of, oh my God, I hope this doesn't happen. Oh my God, how are we going to deal with this? That's the opposite. So we want to sink into that deep faith of knowing the presence of God alive in our lives. Make it welcome, make space for it, and begin to recognize it. And then it expands. That's when the fun happens. That's when the joy rises. And we can begin to live from a different level. We'll no longer be stressing out about what's happening right now or all the injustices of our past or the worry about the future. We can exchange those hurts and those disappointments with the knowing that we can expect God's presence. We can trust it. We can depend on it. And we can become active participants with God in creating what we want to experience for ourselves, for our families, for our community, and for the world. So we're no longer lone rangers trying to do it out on our own. We are not helpless victims waiting for what happens next, waiting for the other shoe to drop in the situation. And we will no longer be, as Ernest Holmes says, mesmerized by the illusion of the world. We're called to live in a continual state of expectancy. This is what it means to live a spiritual life. There is deep peace in understanding how God operates. And there is a deep peace in knowing that operation is happening right where you are. There is joy in realizing that it's our birthright to experience more of the goodness, more of the joy of life, the fullness of life, no matter what is happening around us. When we accept the fullness of life, when we accept that we are that deep relationship with God, we make it possible for everybody around us to experience the same. your freedom, your development, your unfoldment supports everybody around you. And not only energetically, but consciously stepping into their fullness also. So even amidst the challenges of the moment, let us rise above the worry of the world and commune with the infinite. Deepen our faith and stand strong in knowing that life itself, the presence of God, is operating right here, right where we are, and right now to bring us exactly what we need and more. Because we know that life evolves for our freedom and our fulfillment. It's why we're here. And so in this week, I'm going to challenge you to look around your life and expect the divine to reveal itself. Have that little game with God. And every morning say, okay, show me. Show up. How are you going to show up today? And move into that spirit of expectancy. And just see how the blessings begin to abound around you. And so it is. Many blessings to you. And so we're going to invite Denise Rosiér back, and she's got another song for us.
Oh, CSL TV, it has been so great to be with you guys. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's in person or virtual. This has just been awesome to be with you again. And so thank you, John, and thank you, Rev Katherine, for having me with you this morning. And as you guys get ready to move out into your week, I love this. I love something within me today sings aloud as I marvel at the limitless opportunities for my self-expression. And I realize the perfect presence of God within me. That is so true and so great to just keep with you in your heart as you move forward. We are all that's good.
I've heard it said that we're small and alone on our path, but my mind is set on a life greater than that. And my heart is open wide. My heart will be open wide. All that's good that flows from above and below. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All that's good. All that's good. Some say the answers I seek are found on my knees, but I listen inside to the whisper, I'm all that I need. And my heart is open wide. My heart will be open wide. All that's good that flows from above and below. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All that's good. All is for me. Oh, I am worthy. I am worthy. Oh, all is for me. Oh, I am worthy. I am worthy. All that's good that flows from above and below. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All that's good that flows from
Bless you guys. See you soon.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Denise. We are so grateful.
Yes.
Wasn't that great?
It was. It's nice to have a week off from doing it, and we love Denise.
We love Denise, and we miss her so
and especially
much.
since she's so far away,
Yeah.
we can't really have her very often, and now that's not true anymore.
I
so that's
know,
lovely.
I know. We're so grateful. She's such a good friend of the community, and so Denise, thank you so much for your gifts. You're such a so inspirational and so wonderful. We love you, and we're sending you love up there because I think they're getting snow already. But whatever. Again, we're not about the weather. Okay, so with that, I've got some announcements. I just want to remind everyone. I want to start with this. You know, this is a stressful time, and we are separated, but I want to remind you that our practitioners are here for you. If you're feeling that stress of what's happening in the world rising in you, please reach out to one of our practitioners. Their phone numbers and contact information are on our website. They would be more than happy to pray with you. Prayer really works. It helps you find your center, and when you can't find it yourself. And so our practitioners are amazing. They've done years of study of spiritual principle and the art and craft of prayer to be able to guide us into a deep place of knowing. And so when you can't know it for yourself, please let someone know it for you and reach out to our practitioners, especially in this next 10 days. I've been asking for prayer. I encourage everybody to just move into that place of knowing, and our practitioners would love to be there for you. So there's a number of things that are happening. Our book study, they just finished their current book, and they are taking a week off. So they are off this Wednesday, but the first Wednesday in November, they're starting back. And I cannot remember what book they're doing, but it will be up on, I'll make sure it's up on our, I'll make sure it's up on our news feed. And that's Pam Migliosi. You can reach out to Pam Migliosi, and she'll be able to fill you in on the details of that. Our men's ministry and our Sisters in Spirit groups are going strong. They are meeting both online and in person out on the deck of Journey's Restaurant. I know that the restaurants in indoor dining in Riverside County has closed again. The cases are rising, so the restaurants inside are closed, but the deck is glorious. And so they're able to meet there. And so contact Reverend Michael Summers for the men's group and Pam Migliosi for the Sisters in Spirit group, and they can let you know what their schedules are. Our Spiritual Connection at 7 series is continuing, and 7 a.m., 7 p.m., Monday through Friday. And our Wednesday nights right now we're in the middle of a book study, but that will be coming back the second week in November for our check-in on Wednesday nights. And these are wonderful opportunities to just bookend your day in meditation. It's 20 minutes, you get on, you do a guided meditation, you can put a prayer request in, and our practitioners and our ministers are leading those, and it's just a really wonderful opportunity to also come together in the community. So you get to see people on Zoom, and so you're invited to do that with us. Let's see, we've started 2 things this past week. Our Power of 8 groups have begun. We've got a couple of Power of 8 groups running, and this is the last week to join. If you would like to be part of a Power of 8 group, which is it's free, it's a half hour, it's led by a practitioner. You go into a spiritual practice and set an intention for healing and support, and each week one of the people in the group is the center of the intention, and so it's a really wonderful process. I encourage you to contact Ann Woodward to sign up, and we're going to put her email and her phone number in the chat here. And also, Suzanne Ward, our practitioner and our chaplain, is starting an online grief group. And so this is the last week to join that also. So if you yourself are feeling the grief of the loss of a beloved, of a pet, of a job, of the change in life, there's a lot of grief coming up. And an unprocessed grief wreaks havoc in our physical bodies and our lives. And so I absolutely encourage you, if you're experiencing the feelings of grief for whatever reason, please reach out to Suzanne and allow her to support you, and to see if this group is something that would serve you and support you. We're so blessed to have her with us. And the last thing I was going to remind you, which I reminded you at the beginning of services, next week is the end of daylight savings. It's our fall back time. And so enjoy an extra hour of sleep, and we will see you online still at the same time, but the light will be a little different, I guess.
And
We'll
we're
be
gonna be
zippy. No, I can't have 2 cups of
fabulous.
coffee. It's just a little bit later, but I'll have extra sleep. I'll tell you, I'm excited about that. So with that, we can do some prayer work. How
Sure.
about that? Let's do some
Sounds
prayer. I like prayer. All right. And so how good it is to pause in this moment, to feel the love that is the foundation of this spiritual community, and to know that it's still alive within each of us, even when we are apart. For I know that this is the connection of God. This is the expression of that divine spirit of God itself. For God is love, and it is light, it is peace, and it is harmony. And there's a perfection to this life that is the expression of God, that divine perfection that reveals itself unto each of us. Each perfect, whole, complete emanation of God's life. And so I simply rest in this space of knowing, of this communion, realizing that it is the truth of my being in each and every one of us, and I speak my word for us this week, knowing that we go in that divine connection, that we live and move and have our being in the Spirit of God, that there is no separation, that we are never alone, that we are ever sourced and supported and guided in all ways. And we can rise in that spirit of expectancy, allowing the Spirit to show itself in our day-to-day lives, bringing to us opportunity and possibility, the divine blessings and flow, the fullness of life as the truth of our experience. Surrendering any fear or worry, any concern, allowing God to be God in this life, realizing that our God is bigger than our fears, making space for the divine flow, opening and allowing Spirit to have its voice. I know all unfolds in the grace and the love and the light of the One. And so I am claiming peace, and I am claiming wholeness, I am claiming connection, and I am claiming joy for each person within the sound of my voice. And as this week unfolds, it unfolds in the harmony and in the love, for this is God in action. And with a grateful heart, I accept it, I celebrate it, I give thanks for it, and surrendering my word, I allow it to be. And so it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say that if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God. I release and I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only for God.
And as we step forth in this week, let us surrender the stress and step into the expectancy of our good. Wash your hands, wear your mask, don't forget to vote. We love you. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Take care.
Yay!